I quite agree with Steve that heritage is important. But when we talk about urban heritage, we only talk about buildings, or in this case, the students were also talking about green spaces, the open spaces, which are equally important. But I think we need to go a step further, and this is from my own experience, and this is what's happening in other parts of the world where the heritage conservation issue is quite developed. People are quite open to talk about it. The third most important thing after physical, which is the buildings, and the spatial, which is the streets, the roads, the public spaces, the green areas. I think the third most important for urban heritage, and we all should be thinking in that terms instead of just the buildings, is people, is the locals, is the people. So why heritage is important? It is and why these old buildings are so beautiful and everything is because it's been lived in, and that's, I think, is a very unique thing. Because if you go to Malacca or Penang or even Singapore, these buildings are, like I said, they are like more like a Disneyland. So they are there just to cater to the tourists, not to the locals. And I can tell you an example in Malacca. The locals don't go to the city center during the weekends because it's so crowded. It's full of tourists. Of course, I'm not anti-tourist. I want tourism as well. Means I'm not anti-development, but there has to be a balance, and the focus should not be just on the buildings or open spaces. The focus should be on the local. Yesterday, I had a very little chance to see the structure, but in the morning we had a 15-20 minutes ride from so I was looking outside, and I was still seeing that the people are the real people. Are still living inside the houses. They are still doing their regular day job. But what happens when it becomes the so-called World Heritage or something? Property prices goes up. Everything becomes like tourist center. And then all these local people, if they are not owning the place, and if we only have to have cafes, boutique hotels, and art galleries like we have in all these World Heritage cities, that will completely ruin the character of the building, the city. So that's very important to think about that. How do we preserve the local identity rather than having more tourists and having more hotels and more cafes and more boutique or art galleries? Because these are the things which we see. Souvenir shops, everything will become so auntie or uncle who is now doing their own a small shop for the locals, they have no longer any business, because tourists don't understand. They only come here to see what we want them to see. So instead of becoming, like I said, we have to learn from our neighboring countries. And we have to really think that whether we want a World Heritage tag, a stamp of World Heritage, or we want to save our real heritage and the people's heritage, so that our future is more secure rather than just having cafes and heritage hotels. Yeah, thank you.
Terima kasih, thank you. Dr. Nikel menjelaskan bahwa yang dimaksud heritage itu bukan hanya bangunan, tapi kehidupan yang berlangsung di dalamnya. Jadi menyelamatkan heritage bukan berarti membuat bangunan-bangunan kafe yang dimiliki oleh para investor, kemudian yang datang adalah wisatawan luar dan orang lokal hanya menjual souvenir di jalan dan makanan tersebut. Bukan itu, tapi mereka lah pemilik, mereka yang melaku. Kemudian setiap orang yang datang ke sini adalah ingin melihat kehidupan. Jadi yang harus dilindungi bukan hanya bangunan, tapi kehidupan, kemudian keunikan jati diri setiap heritage, itulah yang harus dilindungi. Begitu menurut Dr. Nikhil. Sudah jelas itu? Cukup ya Ibu? Ya. Sekarang berikutnya Mr. Faduyan dari Arsitektur University Ho Chi Minh.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I come from Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah, I would like to say thank Untact Simran inviting me to meet everyone, and I will.